to catch up with us. I can't remember if it shows us right now or if it just like waits. Okay, here we go.
There it goes. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our LAIR of Dreams live show in the Diviners Readalong. This was month 2. And today we're going to be discussing the second book. And there will be spoilers. So aside from this first like introductory portion where we just like give a quick synopsis, you will likely be spoiled for most of this book if you keep watching. So just to give you a heads up moving forward. So I figured we'd let everyone introduce themselves. I'm Madeline. This is my channel. Hello.
You're watching Noveling?
Yeah.
Welcome back to my channel. Okay. Hi, I'm Jane. My channel is It's Jane Lindsay.
Hello, my name is Melanie at LAIR of Dreams, and welcome.
Hello, Chelsea Dolly reads.
Yay.
Let's talk.
And I volunteered Jane to give a synopsis of LAIR of Dreams for us.
Okay.
If you
sorry. My mother always calls. As soon as we go on a live show, my mother freaking calls me. I don't know what it is. Okay.
Neville Yoongi.
Neville Yoongi. Anyway.
Yes.
I'm just talking about Neville Yoongi. Anyway, LAIR of Dreams by Libba Bray is the second book in the Diviners Quartet. It takes place very short after the events of the first book, The Diviners, and we follow our main cast of characters with 2 new protagonists, those being Henry, who we met in the first book, and Ling, who we very briefly glimpse but becomes the main character in the second book. And basically, New York City is being taken over by a sleeping sickness that causes people to fall into dreams and never wake up. Dun, dun, dun. And it all goes from there.
Yes. So that's pretty much the end of the non-spoiler portion.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I thought we would just go through and say what we rated this one and how we liked it compared to book 1. To recap, if you didn't watch our first live show, which I have linked in the description for the Diviners, but in case you didn't know, this is a reread for me, Jane, and Chelsea, and Melanie is reading the whole series for the first time. And next month, Jane will also be reading the book for the first time because she has only read the first 2 prior to this. But yeah, that's kind of where we're coming at this one. So does anyone want to talk about their feelings? Melanie, do you want to go first since you were new to this?
Sure. I gave the Diviners 4 stars. I thought it was going to be 5 stars throughout the majority of the book, but the end just felt a little bit lackluster compared to like this big epic build-up we had going on. So I was a little more apprehensive going into this one when it felt like a 5-star read at the beginning and the middle, but no, it ended amazing as well. This got an easy 5 stars for me. I thought it was way more compelling. I fell more in love with the characters. I fell more in love with the themes, and I love Ling a whole lot. So her and Henry, BFF goals, and they easily made it a 5-star for me.
Yay.
We love this book.
I'll go. This was my second time reading LAIR of Dreams. I rated the Diviners somewhere between like a 4 and a 4.5. But when I first read LAIR of Dreams, I gave it 4 stars. But on reread, I gave it 5 stars and loved it so much. This time I also chickened out of the audiobook and I primarily read like with my eyes this time. And I think that actually worked in my favor this time around. Strangely, because I love the audiobook so much, but I think reading it physically improved it for me and pushed it to 5 stars. I really loved it.
That's awesome.
It was a reread for me as well, as we established. And the first time, I think this is my 3rd or 4th time rereading this one now. And the first time I read it, I gave it 3 stars because I physically read it, and it just didn't really work for me that way. But now on audio, it's an easy 5-star for me. And I just love this series a lot. And again, like we said this, Madeline and I said this the whole time last live show, and I'll say it again. Libba Bray is a fucking foreshadowing queen.
Yes.
She's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, again, also a reread. I talked about this in the first live show, but I have only read each book in this series once, and I've read them all as they've come out. So I read The Diviners in 2012, Lair of Dreams in 2015, and Before the Devil Breaks You in 2017. So this was the first time in 4 years since that I've read this book. And it was once again a 5-star for me. I really like the audio of this one. I think I read it physically the first time around, maybe. But I just think that January Levoy's performance in this one is like even better than her performance in The Diviners. And just the way that Libba Bray develops the ideas from the first book, but also is tackling kind of a different facet of all of the paranormal happenings with the sleeping sickness is really cool. And obviously the dream walking is like such a fun part of this book.
Agreed. The only thing that let January Lavoie down.
Yes, Jane, I was waiting for you to talk about this. I remember watching this in your video when you first talked about Lair of Dreams.
Oh, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, I am from South Louisiana. I'm from the greater New Orleans area. And in this book, there is a character, well, Henry is from New Orleans, but he has a very like posh Southern accent and is therefore excused. But there is a character in this book, Louis, who is supposed to be Cajun and supposed to have a Cajun accent, which is actually like where my family is from and the accent that like my extended family speaks with. And January Lavoie, this is just like her one, her one fault is that she did not pull that accent off very well. But it's fine, I actually stopped listening to the audio this time around because it scares me. Like,
Interesting.
I'm such a wimp, but I also have like a very, you guys don't even know this. When I was really young, was afraid of sleeping. And I like did not sleep really as a kid because I was afraid of falling asleep and I was afraid of like having bad dreams. Like I had really bad nightmares when I was younger. And so the whole idea of like getting stuck in your dreams and not waking up from once you fall asleep like still terrifies me.
Remind me to hug you next time I see you.
I just like, that's why like as you guys know, like I'm up at weird hours. My sleep is always weird. And it's because of that. I was like traumatized by the idea of sleeping as a kid. So this book was super unsettling and the audiobook just like made me feel even more like a baby.
Yeah.
God, that must be wild for you to have read the first time.
Yeah. I was like, oh God.
I almost feel like this book is more unsettling than the first book, even though it's less graphically scary, just because of I don't know, like you said, the sleeping thing, terrifying.
Yeah.
Because somehow that's more plausible. Not the getting stuck in your dreams part, but like getting sick and like falling asleep and never waking up is somehow a lot more like realistic than a ghost like murdering people.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Well, I think it's safe to say we're probably going to officially move into spoilers now. There's not really much else to cover that isn't spoilery. So if you haven't read the series, you don't want to be spoiled. Ta-ta.
But yeah.
Evie O'Neill has entered the chat.
Yes.
Oh,
Love it.
Oh my God. Love that for us.
Does anyone have any pressing thoughts they would like to share?
Or questions, like where we want to start? Because there's a lot to unpack in this hair book.
I guess my couple points can wait. I do, however, actually, I would like to make a comment about my evolving Will and Evie theory.
Okay,
a couple people messaged me after the live show and were like, I'm on board. So I got a little worried because when Jericho and Sam are going through Will's letters in the book, I was a little worried that the timing wasn't going to work out properly because the book takes place in 1927. Evie is 17. So Evie in this storyline has to be born by/in 1910. And I was like, oh shit, this Rodka is like engaged to Jake Marlowe. How is this all going to play out? But the math still holds up because Rodka is engaged to Jake when Will kisses her in October of 1907. So that's still 2 and a bit years for them to break up and get together and have a kid. So I still maintain that Will is Evie's dad.
I'm so stressed over this, Jane.
I just
The
wanna
next
feel
book
real.
is gonna fuck you up.
Are you serious? Oh my god.
I'm not gonna say what
Oh.
why, but
I feel like if we went into like Jane's room right now, she would have like a murder board with her timeline for this
That's what
series.
my brain looks like. Seriously, when I read these books, I'm like
Pepe Sylvia.
the murder board meme with like a cigarette. I'm like just like, ugh. Oh my
Someone asked favorite character and has it changed from the first book?
yes.
Would you care to expand?
Well, in the first book, my favorite character was Theta, but in the second book, it's Ling.
We
Yeah,
stand
but Sam Lloyd still it goes from being like Theta, Sam, Evie to being Ling, Theta, Sam.
Interesting.
I respect that. Yeah, I feel like I've said this a bunch, but Ling is far and away my favorite character in the whole series. So, I mean, going into book 2, I knew that she would be my favorite. And she still is. And my favorite character in the first book is probably Evie. I just love her. I find her very relatable and also very endearing, even though she makes dumb decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, she stood no chance when Ling Chan came into the story. So
I actually think Evie's my favorite now.
Ooh.
Like, I do really love Ling. Ling's a boss ass bitch, but like, just Evie making so many mistakes and just being so fucking relatable. Like, I just really love her.
Me too.
Love her a lot. Bray writes she writes flawed characters really well.
Agreed.
Yeah, mine definitely is Ling now, without question. In the first book, it was Memphis. I feel like Memphis would have had a better chance if his chapters weren't so built on Blind Bill, because it just makes it just like not as. Do you guys hear an echo a little bit with me?
I heard my own echo a little too.
Okay, maybe it's just that. Okay, sorry about that. I'm always still trying to figure out like if I should use that Yeti mic or like what. But anyways, Memphis was my favorite in the first one. But yeah, like all of his chapters are still amazing, and like obviously now with his powers back and everything. But it's just always like he's always playing like second fiddle to Blind Bill, and like Blind Bill obviously a very compelling character, but it's just like you don't get as much enjoyment as reading from him as like what I did from the first book. But honestly, I'm not even like Henry second best now.
Yeah.
I love him.
I do love Henry.
And I don't know, but I love Evie. I love Evie a lot. There's so many good characters. I think that most all the characters are like pretty like memorable.
Great.
Yeah.
Except Aldo has the wrong opinion on characters.
Aldo does have the wrong opinion, and you can let him know I said that.
Aldo's two favorite characters are Jericho and Mabel.
But for the record, like I think I would like Jericho a lot more if I didn't know all my friends disliked. Like before I turned a page to any of these books, I knew they all hated him. So
yeah, we didn't give you a fair shot.
So I can see liking Jericho, because I'm gonna tell you what, his angst was the best. Like that whole love triangle was so fucking well done, and like everything that like how he would act. Like I pictured my arms around Evie. I'm like, ooh boy, like if you feeding me good dinner tonight, you know. So like I feel him on the Jericho a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't like from the beginning I didn't like Jericho, but I think it's just because I was so drawn to Sam, you know, that I was just like, baby, Sergey, please.
Yeah, let me like by the end of this book, I was definitely on the ship with Evie and Sam, but ooh, in the middle, Jericho was making it real good for me. Those rough waters were fun, you know.
We all
really
love a bit of angst.
I really cannot wait to see your opinion on Jericho in the next book.
Same. Me too.
I'm like, he better do something bad because
I'm sure. I can only imagine the shenanigans he's going to get into.
There's the next book. It's like a fever dream. I can't like. It was wild.
I don't remember much, to be honest. I read it so fast when it came out. I'm excited to reread it.
Shit just hits the fan in a big way.
Yeah.
Faith asks our favorite and least favorite part of the book.
Well, I saw Kaylee mention this already in the chat, but Drunk Evie at the end is obviously the best part of this book, 100%.
Oh man, she was so funny.
And January LaVoy's performance of that scene, like, girl deserves a Grammy for that one. Like, it's so funny. Oh my god, when she's in the tunnel screaming, I had a very bad day. Like, that really got me. I was like, I
girl fame. Oh my gosh.
Also, Evie and Sam at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, love them.
Yes. Oh my god, what was my favorite part? I can't even remember. It may be Sam and Evie at the post office. That was just like, that scene sticks out to me so much. But I also, I really loved like that final confrontation scene with Evie and Waimei.
Yeah.
Not Evie. Did I say Evie?
You
Ling.
did. But
No, Ling.
Ling.
Ling and Waimei.
Yeah.
It was very sad, but very good. Like, it was a very beautiful scene.
I shocked myself with how much I cried when all of the shit hit the fan in the dream world.
Yeah.
Everything with Louis and like everything with Waimei. Like, I don't remember being that emotionally impacted by it last time I read this, but I was like full on sobbing.
It was really sad this time.
Yeah.
Hit a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved when the couples were separated or like switched at the end when they were running from the big baddies. I really liked that because it really sets up them all being friends in the next book.
Yeah.
And I like that she took that and did that.
Mm-hmm.
I
sure.
Memphis and
that.
Evie was so like I really loved the two of them together.
And like
Great
I can just picture that too, like him
Yeah.
like just being a good egg with the drunk his girl's drunk best friend, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
My favorite part, this could be a whole fucking discussion, but my favorite part was probably the dream walk with the American soldier.
Oh.
And that was easily the scariest part of the book for me too. But I just think that Libba Bray is so talented on playing with these books that are so beloved from the 20s, like The Great Gatsby and stuff, where they're built on this want of this American dream. And like Libba Bray tells you that fucking American dream and like how we like glorify, 18-year-olds going off to war, wars before they were even born, and then like how like we treat them afterwards and stuff like that. And also just like how this American dream is built on the backs of like oppression and slavery and like so much blood. And like, I don't know, man, it just hits so, and like the whole book is like a theme of that. But I just feel like that one dream and like every trigger warning in the whole entire world for that dream. But like, that's like still the reality in 2019. And like, I just think that was so masterfully crafted. Like,
she
give this bitch all the awards.
Well.
Yeah. My least favorite part, honestly, is probably when George died. I didn't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I thought, I knew Memphis was going to heal someone in a fucking dream. Like, I knew that was going to happen. And I was like, here it comes. And then it didn't. I was like, oh no. And then it happened with the woman, And so if I could change anything, I would change George's death.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
What did I not like?
I think if I could cut out one part, I don't know. I know, like, I just love it all.
Obviously, I love the whole book, but the scene where they're at Jake Marlowe's like Future of America press conference thing, I mean, Jake Marlowe, man, he's just not a good dude. If you've read, especially if you've read further in the series, you just know like he's just not a good dude. He's just kind of skeezy and among other things. So that whole scene and like Ling idolizing him,
that hurt. Like that shit hurted.
It hurts.
But I like it though because I think that's like realistic,
like, it's an important plotline.
Yeah. But I feel you. I was doing all the strangle-throwing quests when I was listening to that part, and I was like, "Oh baby, no!" While like killing tigers, I was like, "Oh baby, no."
Yeah.
I like, oh my god, I just hate Blind Bill so much that I'm like, can this not be a plot line? Like, oh god,
I truly hate to do this to you, but it gets
I know
worse.
Oh no, I know. I mean,
it just gets worse.
It's clearly built up to be that way, and like I know that it's just gonna be worse, but I just hate it. Like, oh man, and
I will say it's one of the most interesting storylines I've ever read, though. The way it goes, I'm just like,
I agree.
Her brain. I'm telling you, it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, even like the aunt, and she's just like, "Don't talk to Sister Walker. Go hang out with Blind Bill." I'm like, "Bitch, please stop." Like, please.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I will
Yeah.
say too, you guys knew I was going to talk about this, but another one of my favorite things is the Gemma Doyle cameo that we get
Yes, yes, yes.
in the post office. If you haven't read the Gemma Doyle trilogy, you probably wouldn't have even taken note of it. But she's the protagonist from Libba Bray's first published series, the Gemma Doyle trilogy. The first book is A Great and Terrible Beauty. My problematic fave, so many issues, but a very formative part of my life. And the thing that I wanted to talk about is that in that cameo, we see that Gemma has a different last name.
Yep, I thought about that.
It is not a last name of any character who we met in the first book, in the first series, to the best of my knowledge. So I think that has to be a plot line of the new Gemma series that Libba Bray has been teasing.
Her brain.
Wow.
I will never
Like, there's
get
no
over it.
way that wasn't intentionally thrown in there.
Oh, yeah,
her
for
new
sure.
name, you know. And she's about like 50 at the time of this book.
I only ever read the first book, A Great and Terrible Beauty. So when I read Lair of Dreams, I couldn't remember the guy's name, and so I guess in my head I just assumed it was his last name. But now that you said that, I'm like, oh shit. Part of me does want to go back and read that series. I know that it's not gonna like hold up, but
if you can read Type, you can read.
If I can try.
Let's not go that far.
I'm legit gonna reread it, probably because this read-along finishes in October. I think I'm gonna reread the Gemma Doyle trilogy November, December, January, just in case anything new pops up in book 4 that has to do with Gemma.
You think she might connect all of it?
I really do. There's no way that these are not connected.
Wow.
You cannot convince me that she doesn't know what's going on in this series.
Ooh. Well, I might read them too. Yikes. Speaking of Gemma at the post office, I would like to talk about the post office scene.
Yes, the other post office scene.
The other post office scene, because that's where my 2 notes come from, or one of my 2 notes. So when Sam and Evie break into the old Department of Paranormal office or whatever in the post office, and they find the map with all of the locations and numbers, Subject 0 is located in Zenith, Ohio. And I could never, I still haven't decided who I think it is. If I think it's James, Evie, or maybe even Will. Although I do think Will probably is not a diviner. But anyway, but the more I think about it, the more I think that maybe it was Evie, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth on if I think it was Evie or James, because as we now learn in Lair of Dreams, they're basically creating this diviner child program where they have all of these kids with abilities, and Sam was being tested, which we saw with his mom and everything. And so if it was James or Evie, then presumably maybe they were the starting point of this program. I don't know what that means necessarily, but I thought that was interesting and obviously very intentional that Subject 0 is from Zenith. But going off of that, at the very end, when, yes, 1920s X-Men, basically, thank you, Yoongi. At the end, when Ling is having this kind of frantic dream at the end before she gets past it and defeats Waimei, she's in the hospital with her uncle, and he's saying, we should have never let them do this to you. And she looks down at her patient file, and the chart says Subject 28, New York, New York. So presumably Ling is also one of these individuals. Did whatever happened at this diviner's gifted and talented program, if you will, is that maybe what caused her infantile paralysis, and it wasn't actually polio or whatever. It wasn't actually infantile paralysis, but something happened to her that caused her to lose the use of her legs. I don't know, but those are the things that stuck out to me.
Yeah. I also love, kind of going off that, how Libba Bray sets up Jericho and Ling to be foils of each other in a way at the end.
Yeah.
Because Ling, obviously they both had infantile paralysis. Ling ends up having to walk with braces and has a disability. But then Jericho obviously was in some ways has like everything that Ling wants, right? Like, you know, he was engineered by Jake Marlowe, Ling's idol, to be like this, you know, robot human. And then Ling has like everything that Jericho wants in a lot of ways because she is not under Jake Marlowe's thumb and dependent on him for everything. So I thought that was really well done too.
That is smart.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
thought about that.
Yeah, going off Jane's thing, I don't know. I think it has to be James. I don't think James is dead, without question.
Oh, I don't think so
he's
either.
dead. And so it's kind of like. Also, that was one of my favorite parts too. Him and Evie and the nicknames they have for each other with like like Greek
Apollo.
mythos. Yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
please, like I did not ask for the waterworks. Like I loved that so much, and like he really did like save her. I loved each part, even with George's part. Like wake up, like I loved each time a character would do that for
Yeah.
someone, like a lot.
Yeah. And I like one of the like most heart-wrenching parts of the book is when Evie gets the comb that belonged to her brother and like totally breaks down and like I
just love
want her to
Evie a
be
lot.
happy.
Yeah.
That was really beautifully done too, because they kind of foreshadowed like, oh, have you ever thought of like scrying on something and then ends up like you get the sleeping sickness, but instead she just got all that heartache. You know, like that was so beautifully done too.
Yeah, I agree.
Just everything
And-
is so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love Evie capitalizing on the moment and just being like, I'm going to be a radio star.
Yeah.
Like, I just love that. That was always one of my favorite parts. And I'm glad that it was still a favorite part on this reread. Like, oh, and even just doing the fake dating, like, just to, you know, advance her image and stuff. Like, she's such a Slytherin. There's no way she's anything but a Slytherin. Like,
even like when the book starts out and they were like, oh yeah, what is it? Like something sweetheart. I can't think.
Sweetheart
Sweetheart
Seer.
Seer.
Yeah, I was just like, no.
Yeah.
No. And then like there's Evie O'Neill, and I was like, wow, they're actually, and I like was like, how the fuck are they gonna do this, right? And then it was like, oh, she's on her own, like and I was just like, wow, icon, no choice but to stand.
I just love her
yeah.
so much.
Speaking, my very last note out of all these notes is that Sarah Snow is gonna play such a bigger role, and that that Christian lady's up to no good. Like,
Shocker.
Oh my God.
Sarah Snow's a
scene where
nasty ass bitch.
Yeah, the scene where she's just on that monologue on her radio show, which I also think is another scene that's done very well in the audiobook.
Yes.
Yeah, it just, you just can feel the tide of public opinion turning.
Yeah.
That is such a turning point in the series and for the tone of everything. Like, I think obviously you can tell it's not much of a spoiler to say that that obviously is going to come into play in the next book. Oh God, Aldo, stop it. But like,
yes, we are.
like tonally so interesting.
Yeah. I think that like it's, I mean, the four of us have kind of talked about how fitting it is in a sad way that this book is still so relevant 100 years later, exactly. Almost exactly. And like, once again, you've got very religious individuals coming out to speak on behalf of the public welfare, and you've got people with ideas about immigration and who belongs in this country and who shouldn't, and it's just like, man. So like Sarah Snow this time around felt even more evil to me.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I've seen firsthand what these motherfuckers
because we know those people, right? I mean, not personally, but we have seen the influence that those people have.
That's like, that to me, I think I mentioned this in the Diviners live show, but like that's the scarier part of the series to me. And I think something Libba Bray does really well is that she shows you that like sometimes the greatest evil is your fellow man. And it's like what you allow society to do to other people in the name of a greater cause or patriotism. And it's not like a ghost or a sleeping sickness. It's like what causes these evils to actually manifest. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure this bitch is gonna fuck it all up next book.
I'm so ready for Jane in particular's reactions because I just love Jane's reactions to everything.
Seriously, if we do not get like constant voice notes of you just screeching,
you'll
there's
just
gonna be a problem.
like a series of voice notes. I'm just like,
I'm trying to look at my notes and see.
Oh, I think this is the Nitro cold brew. It's the really popular one. The one that's
The one that you
everywhere.
can't get in the big size because it will make your heart stop.
Yes.
Yes.
Fun.
I wrote in my notes too that, like in book one, I love that the first chapter is from a random person's perspective and not one of our main characters.
Yeah.
It's just such a good storytelling choice. I love it.
She's so good at setting the scene and setting the vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Actually frightening. I think that was the second scariest chapter. It's the first chapter.
Yeah.
Like, let me go back and see what happened in that first chapter.
I also really liked reading Will's letters of like when that first, oh my god, what were they called? Did they have a name? Did we know their name?
The Department of the Paranormal.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they are out finding individuals. I really like those letters and like just getting that glimpse into the previous generation. And seeing how that might get replicated with our cast this time around.
I also really enjoyed just like in the first book, I was so like with my notes, I was like, whose powers is this? What's this? What's this? Like I love finding out their powers, and like not only do we get to see like Theta's like way more, you know, and like actually learn kind of, not fully what hers is, but pretty much when Memphis sees those like seared marks in the table, oh, that whole thing. But anyways, seeing Evie's power and seeing that like it actually like was very hard for her because of the age of the envelope and how many people had touched it and stuff. Like I loved seeing the layers of her power and how it's not just like, oh, Barnes and Noble, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know?
Yeah. And then how she had to resort to alcohol to cope with it, you know?
Yeah. That's a really good point, Melanie. I like 2 quick points going off of that. First, I thought it was interesting how it's like all of their powers are getting stronger, and like all of them noting that, and like Theta not being able to control her powers the way that she used to. But then also, speaking of Theta, can we talk about the scene with Carl Jung?
Oh my god!
Like
yes,
randomly one of the most famous like fathers of psychology. It's also like extra funny because what they discuss with him is his theory of like the map of the soul, which BTS fans is also the basis of the new album series by BTS. So like to hear him talk about like the persona and the animal and the shadow, and I was just like, yep, future BTS albums, thanks. Like it was very, very funny. But yeah.
Lots of good overlap.
Yeah. I was like, wow, look at these things, look at these interests converging in unexpected ways. I completely forgot that he was in this book, and I was like, oh shit, this does happen. How wild.
Confirmed on Novel Inc. Libba Bray's army. Who do you think her bias would be?
Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who would
I love this. Someone said Theta is such a well-written character. The scene with her getting the flowers killed me. The flowers.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Legit to me, the scariest moment of this
Honestly,
book.
too. Yeah. Like,
Found you.
Oh.
yeah. Especially, yeah, that was a creepy scene.
Shit. And the fact that we go from that right into Sam's mom is alive.
Yeah.
Like my voice cracking just now because it fucked me up so bad.
Betty Sue Bound. She's gonna have a wild ride next book.
Yeah. Talk about Sam's mom's powers though. I'm like, ooh, like baby, you got gypped. Like your mama had some cool ones.
Yeah.
I think that Sam's power is the one that I understand the least.
Yeah. And I think because he wants it that way. Like him as a character, he's very much like obscuring that part of himself.
Yeah. But when he risks it all for Evie and tells everyone that he is, boy, I'm like Jericho who. I'm gonna tell you what, that lighthouse, baby, what's up?
Oh my god.
Sergey.
I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. As much as I love romance, I love contemporary. This is my favorite instance of the fake dating trope. Like, and I don't know if anything will top it, you know?
It just like, because you know they love each other. Like, you just know. But they're both such stubborn, like, pieces of shit. Oh, I love it.
It's also the good trope where, like, you know Sam was in love with her from the fucking moment she took his fucking coat. And then, like, she's still, like, you know, still being like, oh, I wish Mabel wasn't in the picture because, like, I do miss Jericho. And, like, wait, Mabel, you're dating Jarek. Well, good for you. You know, like she's still like feeling it and stuff.
Mhm.
Where like Sam's just like, this is my fucking wife right here. You know, like, and I love that shit too. Like when the guy has to work for it. You know what I'm saying? Queen of nothing.
Yeah.
67 days. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love that so much. You know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, man.
good dynamics all around in that.
So,
Yeah.
Melanie and Jane, I would love to know theories that you have about where the third book's going to go.
That could be fun.
Ooh, okay.
Or anyone who has not read the third book, theorize along with them in the chat.
And don't tell us if we're right or wrong. Like, let us.
Yeah.
We better have a little bit of fucking like a substance fucking piece of this crow motherfucker like somewhere, and we might hopefully don't have to wait till book 4, you know, like because I feel like I'm so clueless. If I had no idea what that book's name was, I would just be like, I don't understand, but crows are spooky, you know. But like, hopefully we have something more substantial to hold on to going into the 4th and final book.
Mhm. Going off that, my notes, I literally just put a note that said, "The King of Crows is legit the scariest YA villain. Don't at me."
The biggest baddie.
So scary. Oh my god, so scary, so scary.
Okay, I have a theory too because Madeline told me that Ling's love interest is in this book, and I'm like, this has to
met them. I don't know if they were in this book.
Oh, okay, never mind. My theory's off. Never mind. I would take everything back now.
Maybe
I don't have a theory now.
But they're definitely
they are in this book for a hot second, by the way.
Okay, cool.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, regardless, now we know that it's Sarah Snow. No, I'm just kidding. Ling would never.
Bye. Who did you think it was going to be? Can I just ask?
Okay. Y'all know. I kind of thought that. I kind of thought that maybe they were going to bring back somehow, I don't know, the, what's her name? The villain, you know, the Pearl Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I was like, what I was going to say is it has to be her or Mabel, and I fucking don't think it's going to be Mabel. So I think that they're going to, because like, were y'all not feeling that? I thought that was going to be a shit. And then it's like, I knew the Pearl thing. I was like, oh, no, she truly is going to die. But I was like, no, it's going to be where like she will sleep every night and be with her. And that's their relationship. It's just like in their dreams, they're together. And like, that's enough for Ling, and that's fine. So I thought that was what was going to happen.
I actually really love that a lot.
So never mind.
I mean, I don't even need to cover my face. You're never going to get it. Ever.
But wait, so the person is in the
Sister
first
Walker.
Yeah, you know them. And Chelsea says that they were in this book too. So.
I think they were in it for like a hot second. I feel like I remember hearing their name.
Okay, cool.
But that's it.
You'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, it's. I remember it being pretty soon into the book, like that they all like hang out somewhere together.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be then the Hotsy Totsy or whatever when Sam meets Evie. It has to be that scene. Because that's like right when they all hang out. True? What fucking page are we on here?
Is it a girl from the Hotsy Totsy?
It has to be.
Whoa. Is it Libba's friend? The girl? What? Oh. What's her? I can't remember her name for the life of me.
That's fucking teamwork. That's all.
You'll find out soon.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I still have Madeline's Christmas note in here. Wow, we stand in this house. I don't even care.
Change the subject.
Okay. Ling could literally date anyone, and I'd be like, wow, OTP.
Yeah, true.
What are some of my theories?
What about like plot theories?
Okay, I think that we're going to learn even more about what Will and his crew were doing.
Project Buffalo.
Yeah, Project Buffalo. That's what I was trying to. We will get into shipping theories after this. I think, okay, plot wise, I don't know what like the big bad of this book is, but I think that we might meet the Crow King in this book. I don't think it's gonna wait till book 4. I think we'll like get a better glimpse of him.
All I'll say about your theory as a whole is that I was so surprised. Not surprised, I guess. Like I probably could have seen it coming if I really tried. But I was so shocked by the baddies of this book. I was like, what? Oh, it's just it's not what I mean, I'm not Bray, so of course it's not what I would have chosen, but I was just like, she's really doing this. Okay, like, let's do it.
Although I'll tell you this, I stuck through the entirety of Teen Wolf, so nothing shocks me anymore. There is no such thing as a big bad that shocks me.
Well,
So
I
I'm
also
just like, sure.
yeah, I also think as the series goes on, like even a little bit in this book, like the big bad gets more and more ambiguous because the scope gets wider and wider, you know? So it's like there are lots of different
Evils
people
at play.
doing immoral
baddies.
things. Yeah.
I think that, oh my god, fucking Neville, you watch Teen Wolf 2. Can we be best friends, please? Anyway, I think that Jericho is actually going to team up with Jake Marlowe. I think it's going to happen. I think
Something
Jericho.
bad, yeah.
I think Jericho's going to be with Chelsea. Turn the whole fuck around. Wow.
But you gotta think of it. He has to. He's gonna die if he doesn't. you
Yeah.
know?
I think that, but also I think that like Jake's speech about being like the golden boy or whatever, like I think that really got to him. And I
Golden
think
Latte.
like Sam and Evie being together, like I just think he can't take it. So I think that like I don't know if he's gonna go full bad, but he's gonna go questionable. And
I fucking hate Jericho.
So I think that's a possibility.
Although in
think-
the chat.
I think that Aldo has to. He needs to. Okay, but I think that
that's
like
me. I'm defending him too as of now.
I also think that like Mabel's new boo is super suspicious.
For sure.
I think that like he's definitely going to cause some problems.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was talking to T.S. Woodhouse at Jake Marlowe's fair. And it's like, how did they know each other? What's going on? You know? I'm suspicious.
Do you think Mabel will be a diviner?
Chelsea's cracking me up, I'm sorry. I think Mabel will be a diviner? I wouldn't be surprised if she was, but I do think it would be a little lame if she was. Like, can we have some non-diviners in the crew? But at the same time,
Libba Bray, all right?
what? I do. I have all the faith in the world in Libba Bray. But like on one hand, I'm like, let's not have every single person be a diviner. But on the other hand, I'm like, if anyone's gonna be a surprise diviner, it's gonna be Mabel. A little boring ass Mabel. She's got to have something exciting going on.
Her power is going to be to make the serum that Jericho needs, and she's gonna be like, "Bye, bitch."
Leave him on red.
Yeah. Okay, so this is like my theories are mostly like just going off of like what I know from Madeline and Chelsea, and like I asked them straight up, I'm like, does a character fucking die? So I think a character is gonna die.
Well, guess
what?
Fun fact: if you go on Amazon to look up the release date of book 4, you see the first line of the premise of book 4, which is indicating that someone dies.
Does it indicate who it is?
No, but literally the first line of the premise on Amazon.com says, after losing one of their own, and I was just like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
That's some Queen of Nothing shit. You go on Queen of Nothing, it's the same thing. Like, blank has been blanked from Fairy, and you're just like, thanks. But, okay, so I don't think it'll be Evie, and I don't think it'll be Sam, and I don't think... Okay, well, do you guys want me to predict who I think it'll be?
No. Hold on, let me hide my face if you're gonna do any of that.
No, I won't. If you don't, I just feel like it cannot be a character that's like too. Okay, gut feeling. I'm like, it's gonna be fucking Henry, and I don't want it to be Henry.
No one in the chat say anything, by the way.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Do not spoil Melanie and Jane. We will beat your ass.
Yeah.
We will come to your house and fight you. Yeah, my first thought was Henry too, and I feel bad.
Yeah,
but
I just feel like it can't be. Oh, I think I'm lagging a little bit. Maybe. Hello? What?
You're fine.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like it can't be. Like, there's so many people who I think it can't be, and the people that I think it can be, like, I'm like, I feel like Theta and Memphis could be, and I'm just like, no, that'd piss too many people off. It's got to be Henry again. Like, I go back on it, you know? And like, I don't think it'll be Ling. I do not think it'll be Evie, and I don't think it'll be Sam. And there's no point of making it Jericho, and there's no point of making it Mabel, which leaves those 3. And I just feel like Henry's the easiest one. So I'm like, it's gonna be Henry.
Yeah, and he doesn't love it.
All I'm gonna
He
say
doesn't
is
like that. Well, he kind of does.
Yeah.
I cried for like 50 pages straight, basically. The end of that book. Like I just cried for like the
Oh my god.
the end of the book, basically.
My thing is, am I gonna say this? I guess I will. There are certain characters where it's like, if you kill this character and leave all the other Whitey McWhites living, I'm gonna have a problem. You know, if you kill off one of the two people of color in this book, I'm gonna be
Flashback
mad.
to her first series.
If you kill off the only queer people, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
But I have faith in
also-
Bray this time around. I hope she doesn't.
I'm trying so hard to hide myself.
Oh my god.
Also, like, let's be real here. Like, this does feel bad to say, but I'll say it. Also, Henry's death would be the happiest because he could somehow be back with his lover type thing. So I think that Libba could be like, let me put a bow on it, you know? Yeah.
Yoongi, I think I know what you're talking about. And I think it's what we talked about with Madeline on Twitter.
Yes,
It is. They talk.
I talked to Neville Yoongi about it. I talked to Chelsea about it. I DM'd with Kaylee about it. And there is in this book, in Lair of Dreams, there is just in the middle of like a very like non-assuming scene, one single line that spoils like
the entire book.
Like the entire book 3. It blew my mind. Like it was crazy.
Like
I just
plot
remember,
wise, or like
yeah,
just like the book, like
the main component of the ending.
Like the twist, if you would.
Yeah, like a twist.
It was Libba Bray's in fucking insane. Like I was
so
talking
unassuming. You would never catch it if you hadn't read the third book.
Ever. You would never even think about it again. And we were talking in the group chat about how like people give J.K. Rowling so much credit for like how she like weaves has nothing on Libba Bray.
Yeah.
Like shit from page 1 of the first book. Like she mentions Jake Marlowe on fucking page 1 of book 1. And I'm just like, fuck. She's insane. I love her. God bless.
Oh yeah, can we talk about the men in the van who keep appearing in this book?
Named after the presidents.
Yeah.
Mr.
Hamilton.
Adams,
I mean,
Mr.
just like
Jefferson,
founding fathers, I guess. Yeah.
They, man, I mean, look, if there are things that make me uncomfortable, it's unassuming white men. You know?
That's a big mood. And
retweet.
Theme of this book.
White men do bad shit. The Libba Bray. But yeah, I just find them so like I found them really off-putting in the first book. In the second book, obviously it gets ramped up because they are now starting to like instigate things. And that scene where they just kill this girl, and I'm just like, it was wild. It was so wild.
Because they're acting so nonchalant about everything else leading up to it. Yeah.
And then towards the end, it's like increasingly violent behavior from them.
And it also like it's now introduced like a second layer of baddies. You know, like it's a whole nother villain.
This is what
that's
I'm
gonna
saying.
I assume will ultimately be the true villain. You know?
Yeah. She has so many loose threads of villains with an overarching villain of just our country, you know, and it's just it's so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also, there was a line, like, I mean, of course, in this book, there's a lot of discourse, political discourse that is especially relevant to our country right now because there are these discussions about immigration. And what like caught me this time around is that in some of these scenes where like the mob mentality is getting kind of like stoked and everything, the amount of people who say things like return to American values or like basically the 20s version of like make America great again. That like oh shit.
And to think that this came out way before.
Oh yeah, way before any of this stuff. And also like the something that really stood out to me this time, obviously like we talked about a lot of the social commentary last time, and I feel like Libba Bray's pretty upfront, like she's not making excuses for the way that the country was founded and stuff like that. But the thing that really stuck out to me this time, and I know we talked about the eugenics movement a little bit in the first live show, but the eugenics people using people's like medical samples and stuff for like nefarious purposes. It's like people sharing their data, if you will, without really giving consent is like such a mirror to everything that's happening with like big tech companies right now in a lot of ways. And that was a parallel that I was shocked by.
Sorry.
Bad blood.
When you brought up the eugenics people, this reminded me that like when they ask the people like, have you ever had dreams of a man in a stovetop hat?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, so I'm sure we're gonna get more information on that in book 3 about like how Jake Marlowe via the eugenics movement is still somehow involved in this. Mm-hmm. Like if he's still part of Project Buffalo or just going rogue, I'm assuming going rogue, but like how it all ties back together. That'll be interesting for me.
And like that cover drop too. It's like every time they'd mention that hat, I'd be like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I say, the King of Crows, to me, every scene that he's in is absolutely terrifying.
Well, and now, I mean, like, I guess I honestly did not pay attention the first time I read it. I must not have. But the fact that, like, you get all these little glimpses in the rest of the country when it's like, so is he the Crow King? Is that his name? What did you just
The
call
King
him?
of Crows, the man in the stovepipe hat.
Yeah. So is he like raising the dead, the ghosts? He's controlling ghosts. Is that gonna? I mean, I don't know if it's in book 3 or like presumably book 4. Is that when it's all gonna? Yeah, turn around, Chelsea. Is that how it's all gonna come to a head in book 4, where it's like literally the ghosts of America's past will come to form a reckoning? Is that what's gonna happen? I don't know, but
in a lot of ways, that's what's already happening, kind of, you know.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, even like the villain in this one, like she was still a ghost, you know.
Aldo very much keeps, like, every time we talk about the book, he talks about the painting in the basement that Sam and Jericho uncover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that, but that really got me reading it this time.
I remember when I read that line, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, it's like everyone knows about it. You know, the weird Proctor sisters that live in the Bennington, they're talking about the King of Crows.
Well, she made a freaking deal with him. Addie Proctor.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like so many different people, whether they're diviners or not, like have experience with this in some way, which is really interesting.
Yeah. I can't wait to see, and I know the book 3 is probably just gonna fuck with me even more, but I can't wait to see things start to come together more, because I feel like right now I just have 100% questions and 0% answers, and I'm not expecting to get more resolution in book 3, but I'm expecting things to be slightly more like pointed.
I was just gonna say, I think you'll have more pointed questions after book 3. Like you'll know where to direct your queries.
Yeah, and I mean also like as the characters get together and start working together to answer the questions that they have, obviously they're gonna come up with some more answers because they have more brain power going toward it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that like the first book is like getting to know the characters. The second book is like seeing them come together. But Isaiah's still not with them, and there's no way that little boy ain't the fucking key to all of this. So, like, you know, OP power, OP. You know what I'm saying? So,
whose power do you think is the coolest? Did we talk about this last time? I can't remember.
I think we talked about which one we would want.
Yeah. But has it changed? Like your favorite power?
Fuck no. I still don't want to sleepwalk.
That's me. I fucking wouldn't want to either. I definitely would still want. I
kind of like Henry's version of sleepwalking, though. I love it when Henry was like, "Wake up now, have a nice dream." You know, I was like, "Baby."
Yeah. I think Memphis is still the most like. Well, I know Melanie's gonna pick Memphis.
The type 2 is gonna pop. I'm gonna get Memphis.
Oh, that's adorable. It's like I don't know if I would pick it for me, but I do have to say, like, objectively, it's probably the most useful and the most beneficial, like, to society. If we want to be utilitarian about it.
Yeah.
I'd keep it on the DL. We ain't gonna go full type 2. We
My
just go,
friends.
you know,
Personally, I
close
still
friends
would,
type 2.
yeah. I still personally would pick Sam's.
Same. Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Oh my
I think I'd
god.
pick Evie because I'm nosy.
Evie's a big
know.
That's me
fair.
too. Like I think that Isaiah has the best power, but I don't think I would want that much
Yeah.
power, you
Yeah.
know? And I
Yeah.
would like constantly everything. Like I don't think I could live my life. I'd be like, oh, weighted blanketed me. You're just gonna, you know, like I just wouldn't want to know.
Especially because, like, as far as we know right now, Isaiah can't really control it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to just like
You just
Raven
have some
Simone and like have a
nightmares.
vision, you know?
Yeah, and we also don't know like who is communicating this info with him. You know, like
Yeah.
you know who it is. Like I don't know.
That just like gave me goosebumps. I hadn't even thought about that. Like, where is
Yeah.
he getting his info?
Yeah.
Who's on the other side of the phone?
The King of Crows. It's all a ruse. I really enjoyed though how different Henry, Ling, and why can I not think of her name? Wyming? How
Wymay.
different their powers. Wymay. How different their powers were. I mean, obviously, because you're not supposed to know at first, so it's like you think she's just a dreamwalker. Like I loved it. I will say that Libba Bray, like twists and turns, 11 out of 10. But I knew Henry's lover was dead from the very beginning. Like I knew that was gone.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was like, boy.
Well, when Ling doesn't really see him at first, and so it's like, oh, why are those two being kept separate? Because Ling can see literally when people are dead in these dreams.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's convenient.
Right.
They only meet where it's sunny, and so like she wouldn't connect the dots.
Yeah, and the fact that Henry didn't find him until he was with Ling, whose only particular talent is for finding dead people.
I did appreciate that, like, there was that thing where Ling at the end was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about the fact that, you know, I was so distracted by May that I didn't even think about the fact that, duh, Henry has to be dead.
Ling's like, my bad, dude, my bad.
One of my other favorite scenes though was when Henry came out of like the first sleepwalk with Ling, and Theta was there and like comforted him, and like how they slept together, and like to branch off Jane's thing, like my whole life, I never wanted to sleep by myself. I'm not even kidding. I was a fucking senior in high school, like still going into my little brother's room and sleeping with him just because like I still to this day hate sleeping with myself. And like I just loved that like platonic soulmate like bond, and how like important, you know, like relationships are. Like they don't all have to be romantic, and that like, you know, like skin to skin contact and cuddling and like comforting, and like it doesn't have to be like a romantic thing. And like I loved that scene so much. So much.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Henry and Theta kind of like going through it in this book.
Yeah.
Because in book one, it's like they're like on each other, quite on rice. They're like, you know, nothing can take them apart. And then in this book, it's really like testing the limits of their friendship. And like when you get to a point where it's like, I love you more than anything, but like I can't do more for you.
Yeah.
Like you're going down a path I've told you not to go down, but you've got to go down it for whatever reason, and I love you, but like, and that's
Theta
like
really was that bitch in this book. Like she was telling everybody what they're doing wrong.
She read Evie to filth, and it was amazing.
Even Mabel's dumbass was like, so happy, why didn't you tell me? And then they're like, bitch, no. Why are you doing this? Why are you playing?
And I also want, sorry, this has been my last point. I want more Sam and Theta together, because like obviously they were together at the end of book 2, so Sam knows what her power is, or like knows that she has this power. And so much of the first 2 books has been like Theta telling Evie like, Sam's bad news, like you need to just get rid of him, whatever. And now that he knows her secret, I would be intrigued to see them, like the 2 of them form a friendship, because I feel like they have the possibility to become like such a great friendship pair. So,
and both of their powers are the ones that I'm like, it's not so black and white. There's so much gray with them. Yeah,
man, I just love, like, they're all so great. Like they just, and the chemistry between them all is so good. Like Memphis is kind and like not forgiving, but like patient with Evie. You know, Sam is just the funny guy, but he's got a heart of gold.
Mhm.
You know, Theta will tell you how it is, but she loves you dearly.
Mhm.
You know, Evie's a fucking hot mess, but she
She's
loves
trying.
deeply. You know, like,
Yeah.
they're all so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make such good, like, not to like pull SJM here, but they make such good couplings, you know? Like Theta and Memphis is like the shit of like dreams, and Sam and Evie are the same.
Yeah.
And there's such different dynamics, all four of them, but like
Yeah.
it comes together, it's just like chef kiss, you know?
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I love
But
what Ling brings to them too, just because like sometimes you need that dose of like realism, you know, and just like, you know, I love that. Anyway,
And
sorry
I-
to interrupt you, Melody.
No, God, no. I feel like I'm like a second off from the chat still, so I'm like, what the hell? Please, like, even out internet.
I really also I liked seeing the fangirly side of Ling.
Yeah.
Like I loved it
me
when she was
too.
like, it's Jake Marlowe, you know, like
Yeah.
I liked that part of her because it shows that, like, you know, it reminded me of the friend from Foolish Hearts.
Iris.
Madeline, have you read Foolish Hearts?
Yeah.
Okay, the friend who loves the boy band. I can't remember her
Yes.
name right now.
Iris.
But like so hard and so like aggressive, but then he's my son, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I love that. I love characters like that.
And just the fact that like she's saving and she's like trying to go to school and like she's so into like science and stuff. Like I'm like, oh, be still. Like I love her a whole lot. Also,
And her
her like
parents.
conning Henry. Like her cousin was like, nah, bitch, I'll give you $2, and Henry's like, here's the 10, you know, and she's like, thanks. You know?
Yeah.
And I love her and Henry. Like, oh, I love her.
know.
Yeah, it is really, really, really good. And even like I just think that the representation with like Ling has like all the fucking rep. And like I just think it's like all like really thoughtfully done and stuff. And I really liked her discussion on like how much dreams mean to her and like how scared she was to meet Henry and like him to see her and stuff. And I was like, oh baby. You know, like I just love her a whole lot.
And her parents. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her uncle too.
I was gonna say also her uncle, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, how's that going to end up in book 3? Like, I'm scared, you know?
Yeah.
God, there's some schnit that goes down.
Yeah.
I'm also very scared. Someone asked early in the chat, like, our couple predictions. And, like, obviously, I think that Sam and Evie are endgame, but I think they're going to be going through it in this next book. Like, I think it's going to be so hard, especially if Mabel is like, Jericho who? And then Evie's going to be like, you know, and I'm going to be like, bitch, don't.
Yeah.
Okay, answer me this. This is probably like, you know, this is a YA series, but do you think that Evie and Jericho had sex? Or do you think they just made out and stuff? No?
I don't think they had
I don't think they had sex.
I think that the emotional response for both parties would be very different if they would have had sex.
I thought they probably did not, but I just was curious what you thought about that as well. Because that was going to impact if I think, you know, how bad to go through it in book 3.
I have a feeling that Evie cares a lot about who she gives it to. You know? I have a feeling that it means a lot to her. You know?
Oh, you think? Oh, see, I kind of thought that Evie and Sam did it a little bit.
I mean, it still stands, but
I don't know. I mean, I guess I read that scene as like they kissed and then he put her to bed, as in like, like
good night, honey, tuck you in.
Like,
I was Jay Holiday in it. I was Jay Holiday in it. Put you to bed. That's how I was saying it. My bad. Cassie Claire, where you at with the Tumblr?
I think Libba Bray will make that explicitly clear.
Yeah,
I agree.
I trust her to be like, and then they did the sex.
Yeah.
Because I love how, I mean, sex positive, I'll still say that Evie is, you know, like she's like, I canoodled with lots of men before, like whatever, however, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. Good shit.
Does anyone have any we've been here an hour. Final questions, final theories?
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
Anything else you want us to start talking about before we wrap up? Oh my god, also, and Chelsea, I honestly can't remember if this gets addressed in book 3. Like, I just don't remember.
Okay, well, let me hide my face just in case.
Okay, the number 144.
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy over and over and over.
Everywhere.
Yeah. The fact that you don't know if it's been addressed in book 3 kills me, because I assumed you would know right off the bat because of Blind Bill. Like, I'm like, they're not going to talk about that anymore. You know?
There are answers to things, but
Mhm.
there are more questions.
I remember
And-
all the overarching plot points of book
Mhm.
3, but I don't remember the specifics.
Someone asked, who do we think the soldier in the wheelchair is? I don't know. I think it's probably someone who was in the army with James. Wait, did we get that confirmed?
Yes.
Did I just make that? Okay.
No, I think that too.
Okay.
You're probably right.
I can't remember.
I think it was probably someone who was. Now, was he actually in the army, like in France with James, or was he in the special?
Yes,
the
Diviner
project I believe
Army.
James was a part of? That's probably more likely.
Mhm.
Especially because, you know, Ling and her disability, you know, like obviously, I don't know.
Mhm.
The next live show is going to be. What? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, all of the info for book 3 is in the description. So page breakdowns, dates, live show info. But it will be on Jane's channel. It'll be on Friday, October 11th, same time at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And like I say, the page breakdown is there too. We're doing 7 days again, and the reading will go from October 1st to October 7th.
And then you'll
And so
have
there
a
are
couple
few-
days left. to
Yeah,
finish up.
exactly.
A couple extra days for the live show, yeah.
So go ahead and put your holds in at the library.
Mhm.
I actually haven't had a hard time getting them at all. I thought
Me
I
either.
would,
I haven't either.
and I'm from my library's very overpopulated.
Yeah.
But I've been able
Yeah,
to just
same.
get them
yeah.
or wait like a week.
But it is about to be spooky season, like
True.
officially, so it might be a little harder soon.
Yeah, let me get that for Aldo actually. While we're here.
Any other theories? I don't know.
Mm.
Okay, let me just ask y'all this. I'm not asking who or whatever.
Mhm.
Do we get some like firming up of love interests in the next book? Like, are things more pushed in one direction than the other?
One Direction.
I think so.
Or is it still like ambiguous?
No, there's definitely I mean,
There's a front runner.
yeah. I would say so.
Mhm.
And I would say I think that has already begun. Like I think it's clear.
Nice. Yeah.
You never know. Maybe he'll be like, make me your villain. And she'll be like, you know, like, we don't
Sergey
know.
could never.
Honestly, though,
So funny. I know Jane's like, okay, I'd be into it.
whatever.
What's
Evie
all
would
the
do. Evie'd be like, okay.
Oh, never mind.
What?
I don't know.
Say it.
No, never mind. I can't. I'm not spoiling shit.
Don't.
But I just I had a vision. I had a remember.
Okay, Isaiah.
I know.
You had to remember.
I had a remember, and I think
You tell us not to go under a bridge, then, like.
Yeah.
there might still be some love triangle-y stuff, but I think
I hope it is.
preferences
I love
are
it.
clear.
I think for like all of the ships, things start to move in a more definitive direction.
Okay.
At least by the end.
Yeah, like if you think about it, like if this whole series were a romance novel, we're getting right to the part where things are real good and then they get bad,
Yeah,
you know, so that they can wrap up in the end.
I mean, if you want me to be like complete, I mean, I feel like it's there. Like, what's gonna happen is Mabel's gonna be like, it's all good. Like, you can date Jericho if you want to, or what the fuck ever. And then Jericho's gonna go bad, and then Evie's gonna be like, fuck it, can't pick you anymore. And then bada bang, bada boom. He's still gonna cause shit for Sam, but
I kind of agree, but I also think Evie is a little more set on Sam.
yeah. But
than you
Sam
think.
might do something to pick. Like, he might like do something because he's so. Sam's number one drive is his mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like Evie's the type of bitch too, where like he's gonna like flake or something. Maybe this whole like fake thing will come out because of that or something. You know what I'm saying? And then Jericho's gonna look good for a second, and then he's gonna fuck it up. But I'm gonna be eating good. That's all I'm saying.
Jericho is a very interesting character in the next book. It's a very Jericho thinks very highly of himself in the next book.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
The mechanical part.
Just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think that we've already kind of gotten a glimpse into that. Like when he and Mabel go on that date and he just fucking rips into her, it's just like you think your opinion is the right one, no matter what.
White guys.
Yeah, right. White guys. With the minor in philosophy suddenly think that like they know best. But like
In boat shoes.
it really came across as like, oh, like Jericho, I think maybe portrays himself as and is a little bit intended at first to come across as like this I don't want to say pathetic, but like more pitiable figure.
For
right?
sure.
We're like, oh, Jericho, he's just like a good old golden boy, but that no good Sam Lloyd is getting one over on him and getting the girl. When really, it's like Jericho is capable of some shit, and he's just like that unassuming white dude who's actually like really problematic. And I think it's going to come to a head in the next book.
For sure.
I think he's going to become Jake Marlowe's golden boy. Like, I can see that happening. Either, like, maybe at first under duress, but then he's like, I like the attention.
Jericho gives me, like, Jared Kushner vibes. Like,
that's not a compliment.
I know it's not.
No, I know. Just for anyone who's unclear about our political persuasions.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. I definitely, I don't know. I think that Libba Bray is very smart with writing Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think also just like the whole, like, you know, like obviously he was like abandoned and like he was left for dead and like stuff like that. And I think that that's very much like a thing like girls, you know, are and would be like, oh my God, poor baby, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, yeah. Jericho's peak nice guy. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you what, he's still gonna give me some good angst until he goes to the dark side. So I'm just gonna embrace it, okay?
Until he full on Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if this book did anything to me, it just reminded me that like I have not read a good love triangle in so fucking long.
That wasn't me saying he does that, by the way. For the record.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, did you just fucking say in
No.
Anakin Skywalker's? What?
No. I
my
wouldn't
God.
do that.
You Neville mentioned the song. The scary song. The song in this book is way more scary than in the first book. You can fight me on that.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely. Well, like Naughty John's just a funny name in general.
You were laughing when you were reading it, though.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, I also think just like that the jewelry box in general thing is really spooky, you know. Even like the SpongeBob, like do 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 do, like that shit's fucking spooky, you know. It's like still like that.
And I feel like we've seen in this book, in the series, so many times by now, like anything that gets brought back from the past is not a good time for anyone in the present, including creepy songs.
Is there a new song in the third book that gets repeated?
I think it's the same one.
Yeah.
Because it was also in the, in the first one, it was the pack up your troubles in your old kick. Ooh, I hate it. It might be that one. I just hate it. I hate it a lot. Creepy songs abound.
Yeah. Very weird. It's going to be weird seeing everything come to a head.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're so close to having the answers.
I know.
Like we're 6 months out? Not even?
Not even.
I mean, I know this is like this is like a meta question, but like, do you think that Libba Bray will wrap the series up cleanly?
Yes.
She fucking better.
Yeah. I think it's going to be heartbreaking.
Well, it could be like everyone's happy, whatever. The big bad's dead, and then it'll be like, Gemma, what are you doing here? And then it'll be like, you know, like.
Like, all about to go to hell.
That would be amazing. I think if Gemma makes an appearance in the last book, which, like I say, I still think she will, but I think that it'll be very much like her appearance in book 2, in this book 2, where it's like people who have read her series will know, but or people who, and it'll be like a little fan service for people like me who are awaiting the new Gemma series that she's been teasing. But I don't think it'll be super obvious or like a huge part of the story for people who Haven't read that series.
Well, that's also true because I guess if you think about age-wise, she's like the events of the new Gemma series must happen before the Diviners. So
yeah, they have to. Yeah,
so-
if it's going to be YA or whatever.
I wonder whenever that trilogy comes out if we'll see foreshadowing for the Diviners.
I bet we will. Well, we know
Man,
that
the
Gemma ends
stovepipe
up in
hat.
New York. We don't know how long she's been in New York. Because if you've read the end of her series, it's not an open ending. Like there's closure and it's bittersweet, but it's not fully like not everything is completely wrapped up.
I was going to ask you about that because I only have read the first book, but I was like, I the ramifications if they've impacted this, I was very curious.
Yeah. Well, if you want to hear a funny story about the third Gemma Doyle book, one of my defining memories as a child was that book came out. Or no, it didn't come out. I was reading this series when I was in 7th grade. I went to my friend's birthday sleepover. And when I was little, I used to always wake up like first at sleepovers. And I was reading book 3. And so I wake up before everyone else. I'm sitting in this girl's room and there's like all these other girls there. I'm just like sitting in the corner reading the end of the Sweet Far Thing, which is the last book in the Gemma Doyle trilogy. And I started sobbing so loudly and so hard that I woke up all of the other girls at the sleepover.
Peak Madeline.
Bad girl hours. Oh my
Like,
god.
when I say that I've been crying over Libba Bray since I was 13, I'm not kidding.
I will say that the first book, what is it called? A Great and Terrible Beauty,
Mhm.
was the first book I had ever read that featured a female character masturbating.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite scandalous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my mom, to check it out from the middle school library, my mom had to fill out a permission slip.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, granted, if you didn't know, I live in the deep South.
Madeline and I are well below the Mason-Dixon, so
Anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent, but
No, love that. God, I just love these books a lot, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited that you guys are finally
yeah.
reading this.
Yeah, I really
Oh my
didn't think
God.
that they would hold up so well, but they really do.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm going through it. Sorry.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even know what the first book with female masturbation I ever read was, but obviously I had read Gemma Doyle, but I was an adult and stuff. But I made a big deal about the Riley. No. I made a big deal about. I wish I had that little girl, Melanie. God, I shouldn't say it like that. Young adult Melanie would have been rubbing them out way sooner had I not known the Catholic guilt. It is a bitch, y'all. But that I made a huge deal about it on Instagram when I read Final Draft by Riley Redgate. I was like, I wish I would have had that book when I was in high school. So
I'm just going through it because I read Ready or Not when I was 13, and she uses the tub spigot running water.
bless. We stand in 2019.
And she dates the president's son, so good times. Had my
Relatable.
own.
Oh god, no, not relatable. Why did I say that?
Jared Kushner.
Yeah. What?
I don't think I've ever read a Meg Cabot book. No, that's not true. I have. The only Meg Cabot book I've ever read was Avalon High.
Oh my god. You should read I would love to read the Princess Diaries with you. It'll take you an hour. 1 hour. And it's a treasure trove. It's a treasure trove of Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson references. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Let's do it.
I think it came out in 2001.
Oof.
But it really does hold up. It might have some cringe words.
Sure.
But as a whole, it really holds up.
I'll read it.
And I'm really excited about it.
Middle school Melanie just read James Patterson because she was going through it. James Patterson is my #1 read author.
Wow. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like you told me that maybe.
Middle school was reading Sarah Dessen.
Man, no, man. Alex Cross, my ride or die. Okay. And even like John Grisham and all those, like that's all I read. That's like my grandma still. That's like what she likes is mystery thriller. And, like,
Have I told you that John Grisham owns a house on the island where my parents live?
No.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm like, ew, how gross. I'm like, if I would have met him, I'd be like, oh my god, you really formed my reading life. I'm a reviewer on Goodreads now. Like, really shaped that for me. Appreciate it. But yeah, and then when I got into high school, that's when I read Holly Black, and then I was like real fucking hard with the Fever series by Karen Marie Montaigne. That's like when like my kink started coming out. That's when I was like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad, you know.
So
Vampire
Jane,
Academy
was yours Sarah Dessen?
Yeah.
Madeline?
Well,
What's
when I was like younger, it was a lot of like high fantasy books, like Robin McKinley. But in like junior high and into high school, it was like Sarah Dessen and Twilight for me. A slight peek into my age a little bit, but
well, I mean, I remember when I read Twilight for the first time. I remember when Breaking Dawn came out. I was like, "Fuck!" I stayed up all night and read it.
Yeah.
TBT.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were on family vacation, and I made my parents stop at a Books A Million on the way so that I could read it.
I bought mine at Borders, which doesn't exist anymore.
I remember picking up the last one at Borders for my mom. I read them late, but my mom read them when they all came out. My mom has first editions of Novel Spoilers. Yeah. My mom likes PNR.
Oh.
She doesn't read as much as me as my grandma, but she likes PNR. Hence the Fever series. I was like, oh, my mom likes these. I didn't even think what the fuck I was reading. And I was like, oh.
That was funny.
I like Borders so much more than Barnes & Noble.
Me too.
Their YA section was...
I know. It was so nice.
Yeah.
TBT.
Mm-hmm.
The teen section.
When I like cull my shelves, a lot of times I'll have books with the border sticker on the back, and I'm like, well, maybe I won't get rid of this one. You know, Perks will be in the last line. Maybe I need to keep this one. You know, because I'll have it on there.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
It is. It's weird though. It is weird how your reading tastes are very much shaped.
Yeah, that's true. Because I only read contemporary now, and all I read was Meg Cabot. I've read probably like 30 books by Meg Cabot at this point.
Wow. You should do a video like that. People love that shit.
You know, my first year of having a channel, I mentioned in probably like I'm like, I'm going to do a Meg Cabot series video, but I need to read one more book. And then I just never did it.
You should do the ranking. That's like still like one of my most popular videos I've done this year is the Shadowhunter ranking.
Well, I think Shadowhunter's a little more popular than Meg Cabot, but maybe.
Coming from Chelsea Darling, Shadowhunter's who?
Yeah.
To do it.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll get drunk and make it a video.
Yeah.
Talk about those.
And I met her at Book Expo at that romance party, and she was so fucking sweet and cool. I'm just like, bitch, you famous. Like, you don't need to be talking to me, you know? And she was really like down to earth and cool.
She changed my life. Love her. Michael Moskowitz forever.
Oof. Oh my god.
Book Michael's so much better than Movie Michael, and Movie Michael's great. Okay.
Wow.
Book Michael.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie.
Read them. It'll take you like a day to read all 10.
Yeah, they're so quick.
I remember when I was reading Rochelle Mead, it was like I wasn't at U of M yet, but she graduated from U of M too. So like her dick was completely down my throat, like while I was reading Vampire Academy, and I liked it so much. And that was like the first love triangle I had ever read, minus like Harry Potter, like wishes. But I ate it up in Harry Potter too. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but
I loved Vampire Academy. I read those not that long ago.
Me too.
I was really late to Vampire Academy.
I'm gonna tell you what, Adrian shaped like the book like literary boys meant for me. Like I'm like brooding, dark-haired, artsy boy. Love me, Adrian. Give me that Snow Lodge.
I actually like hesitate to say I think you might like them if you pick them up now.
I'm not scared to read anything.
I've had a lot of people say that like there's some questionable rep in them now, which I totally probably is valid. But oh my god, they're to this day, I think that's like the best love triangle. And she has an adult series called Stormborn, and the main character is a shaman, which like I love shit like that too. And the love triangle in that is so good. It is I say it's like my favorite love triangle, but it's probably very problematic now. But
well, if you think about Rose and Dimitri,
you know,
fucking,
I shipped her with Adrian. Okay.
Well, I was an Adrian fan too, but I still fucking drank the Adrian and not Adrian, Rose and Dimitri Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah,
I was
that
into
little
it.
cabin on campus. I'm like, he ain't her teacher there. Okay.
I can't remember that. Like, I swooned so hard reading those books.
Wait, here's your
I
teacher.
did too. Oh, he's here like trainer, like
Yeah,
person.
It's weird. He's like
But
a government official kind of.
yeah, it's not okay. It's problematic.
Yeah,
At
no,
the end,
it's
she's like 17 and he's definitely like 19 or 20. Like he's
he's like in his 20s.
I do remember, but I knew he's older. It's questionable consent and stuff.
I'm pretty sure he was like 27 or something.
You think he's that? There's
Maybe
no
that was
way.
the actor. Maybe that was the actor. But like, I'm pretty sure he's like way older.
Yikes.
But like Adrian is like just a little bit older than her, and when they meet, she's like 18 and stuff.
Rose
But,
and Dimitri age gap.
but he's definitely like a figure that should not be dating her, and he knows it. That's like a thing in the book.
Yikes.
But in that cabin,
Okay,
Oh my
Dimitri, he was 24 at his first appearance in the series.
that's old. Damn.
He was born in 1991.
No.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Oh my God, Rose. What was her last name? Hathaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was actually. I think
Yeah.
you're right. It's
She was born in 98. He was born in 91. And she was in high school.
oh my god. You know what though? Park Jimin's looking a little better, ain't he, Chelsea?
Oh my god.
You're welcome that I just Googled that for you.
Yikes.
I feel gross.
Yeah. Wait, I want to Google how old Adrian is now. I know he's older than her too. It's probably
Adrian Bellic. No, Dimitri Bellic. What was Adrian's last name? Adrian
Ivish
Ivishkov.
Yeah.
Ivishkov.
Whoa.
Okay, let's see.
Don't do it too dirty.
He's 21 at first appearance.
Not good, but
Wait, what? No. It says he was born. That doesn't make sense. It said he was born in 81. That's not true. He was 21.
Jane
He was 21 at first appearance. Okay.
this is the fucking bus driver.
I don't like it. Okay, I just wish I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
goodbye.
Now that
Yeah.
we're completely derailed, does anyone have any fun Lair of Dreams questions?
Bring it back to the diviners. Anybody
Yeah.
have any else?
And to be fair, yeah, like this was like the same time, and look how much better this love triangle is. Full circle.
Mhm. Full circle. There you go.
That's the point we were trying to make, you little pervert.
Yeah. Anyway, love you guys a ton. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Does
We will
anyone have
see
any
you.
parting comments or questions? Let's give them a few seconds. Type.
Wisdom.
Got anything?
Like I said, if you're looking for the info for book 3, it is all below in the description. And if you want to watch the live show for book 1, if you missed it, that's in the description. If for some reason you're not subscribed to these other people, I'm sure you are, but if not, that's in the description. And we'll try to tweet out the dates and the breakdown soon too.
But until October 11th, see you next time.
Keep it spooky.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks for-
joining.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. And thank you guys all for participating too. We've had like such a fun time
It's been a
talking to
blast.
everyone and seeing everyone's Instagram posts and tweets and stuff. So keep them coming. We love them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's super fun.
Yeah.
Boost them extra a lot for when the devil will break you.
Yes.
If the devil will break you.
He will. He will.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, that Catholic
He's
guilt
gonna
is coming in, okay?
The book might break you before the devil does, though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a good
Thanks for hanging out.
weekend.
We love you,
Bye.
Yoongi Neville.
Bye 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 bye.
Yoongi Neville forever.